All right, Rohan Patel, comic book movie. It's
Hi, Rowan. How's it going?
going good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, buddy.
I just saw that fourth episode, so you guys killed it today.
Ah, good stuff. Thank you, mate.
So I guess I'll just ask with like, um, you seem to care a lot about Maya, and so with these next two episodes coming up, what can you say about like what are Kazi's sort of motivations going the next two episodes? Is he like
Mm.
looking for the watch, or is he looking out for Maya?
Yeah, you've picked up absolutely correctly. Like there's a lot of care there. They've been in each other's lives for a long time. As one of our writers explained on Twitter, they were at the karate class together, when they were kids, learning to fight as youngsters and have a familial relationship. And it runs very, very deep indeed. But at the exact same time, Kazi has this just as obsessively strong loyalty to the mafia themselves. This is his surrogate family. It's the only world that he's ever really known, certainly the only world that he can remember, and I think that struggle and that dual loyalty between it and caring for Maya is going to find himself in quite a predicament.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you're saying about Kazi, I mean, he does have like a comic sort of counterpart who's obviously your version, I think, is a lot different than the one we see in the comics. So did you actually like draw any inspiration from that version, or did you just kind of try to make this your own?
I'm always a big fan of looking at the source material for anything that I do, whether or not that actually transpires to inform it in a great deal. I just think it's interesting. So I definitely read the comics on which the character is based and found them very intriguing indeed. I loved he had this brooding intensity that I really wanted to bring into our version of the character. But what we were able to explore with the TV show was what his motivations are. He is very much an inherently bad person in the comics, and I think that would have been a real straightforward avenue. But what Marvel Studios do so well is figuring out the why about everything. Like, how have they got to be in the position they are? Why are they the people that they are? What has led them to this point? And that was one of the most gratifying things to be able to explore was, who is this kid and how has he found himself there?
Yeah, and like he's probably the most relatable one of all the tracksuits. So like when you get a scene, you get a big scene today with Jeremy Renner, and so like what was it like working with him? Because he's done this for like a decade now, and then like and you're like all of the whole cast is like newcomers to the MCU. So what was it like learning from him and seeing like entering this whole new big world?
Yeah, I remember doing that scene. Yeah, I was definitely a bit nervous before. I just think Jeremy's wonderful. I loved Endgame so much. It's one of the best films I think I've ever seen. I saw it 3 times at the cinema. And the scene where he loses his family, like just like so devastating. He played it so beautifully. And I love that Clint's journey is continuing with such a strong sense of family unit and the importance of family. And it's not just as simple as getting home for Christmas. It's like it's family. Like he's lived without them for so long. So I've a huge admiration for him. But he was great on set and just very warm. And I think got that we were just as excited to be there as he has been all these years. And for us to be part of his story was a real thrill.
Awesome. And so you haven't had any like since the pilot. I don't think you've had a scene with Kate Bishop, but I mean, it looks like you caught her eye as well. So like, what can you say about? Could we see? Are you gonna interact with Kate more in the next two episodes, or is that something? What's that dynamic like?
Um, I think Kazi really respects Kate
Mhm.
for finding herself in this completely random situation and seemingly out of her depth until she actually proves to be serious world-class archer and fighter. Um, but I'm not sure if their worlds collide again at this point. Well, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But he was certainly very, very flattered.
I can imagine. And so like there's been a lot of buzz that, next week's episode is gonna, have some big reveals. So like and hopefully we get to meet your uncle, whoever that may be. But it's like, what can you tease about that dynamic? Because you're like, it feels like you're closer to the top of the tracksuits than we like are have seen so far. It's like, so what's that dynamic like with like the upper management, like whoever you and Maya are both working for?
Yeah, Uncle Dave. He's very, very important to us both. But yes, you're right in thinking Kazi is definitely higher up than most of the tracksuits, and if anything, would have seen himself in a higher position than Maya. As I said, like this organization has been everything that is important to him, and for Maya to somehow have found her way up there whenever it's always been Kazi's ultimate driving force is probably very, very tough pill for him to swallow. But yes, there is this is a escalating order of importance, and yeah, even Maya has to take her orders from someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like it's no secret that like there's an Echo show coming. So it's like, have you heard anything about whether you'll also be a part of that show, or is that something that's still to be determined?
Mate, I'm literally sat with my phone just here, just in case Kevin wants to call.
Yeah.
But he hasn't yet. I don't know. Is this thing on? Like, I don't know. I don't know, mate. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very willing to explore this character as fully as possible.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so you have the whole setting is this Christmas setting, and you have this very diehard sort of vibe to the whole show. So how fun was that, like filming versus, and then like now getting to see, like was it like what you expected when you were filming, or is it like, oh, this is a lot more fun, this is like way more like intense than I anticipated?
It was. Oh, I love the Christmas thing. I think it's ingenious. It's like HAWKEYE was written for me to be in. Like if I could collide, two passions, some Marvel and Christmas movies, it's just sort of done this. It's a perfect marriage. I've already watched Home Alone 1 and 2 twice, and it's like the 8th of December,
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the aesthetic really, really works. What makes it brilliant is that you're led into a sort of false sense of security that it's really fun and the stakes are low, but it is it's going to kick off. It really is, and I think that's no accident. But I'm loving the Christmas thing. I'm loving the soundtrack, and I'm feeling proper festive, wearing my Christmas jumper when I watch every episode.
Awesome. And so I don't want to keep you too long, but I just had to ask you about, since like we've seen like the martial arts training, and then we saw you in that fight scene, I think in episode 3. So it's like, what was that like, training to become like you had to look like the part, you had to look the part. So like, what was your training process like, and like, what can you tease about these next 2 episodes?
Yeah, that was one of the most fun aspects of the job. And firstly, learning the sign language, I was so privileged to be able to do that. But also the stunt work led by Heidi Moneymaker, who was our stunt coordinator. They're the true superheroes of the whole project, in my opinion. They're the ones that make us look good. And yeah, there was rigorous training involved, but I just completely loved it. It was a skill set that I had never explored before, and I really, really loved it. And got to do some really, really fun stuff on set. Yeah, it was just like kid in the play store sort of thing. Like we were just having the most fun ever.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm super happy for you. This show's been so great. So I'm looking forward to the rest of it. But this has been great. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, buddy. Such a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.